Here is the news. In the south,
with Pat Wind
and Ian Keith. One woman injured and hundreds disgusted at a local faith when a diseased cow runs amok. We'll be asking how this tragedy was allowed to happen and giving you the lowdown on how to keep you and your family safe during this fate season.
Ancient yew tree felled after being identified as a hotspot for sex perverts.
This is a very worrying time for all of the concerned parents. We now have to accept that these monsters are getting more and more advanced. One has to ask, if they can disguise themselves as a tree today, what will tomorrow bring?
An army of evolved cyber perverts?
That's very much our fear.
PC gone mad, or the beginning of a living hell for the families of the South. Our man in the community, Poo Poo Phalanges, will be bringing a special report.
And burn, baby, burn! Hundreds of mourners scorched as pyrotechnics go haywire at the funeral of local 70s rock legend Des Venison. We'll be talking to the survivors of the Disco Inferno later.
Hot stuff.
And we'll be reporting on the campaign of radical peg-led Muslim cleric Ahmed Hitler outside Portsmouth Crown Court on what he describes as the shameful cramming of 700 asylum seekers into one house. We'll be talking to distressed neighbours on the Lords Hill estate and the man himself later.
And now the astonishing story of Gilles de Beaumarchais, a West Country cabbage farmer who awoke this morning to find Legoland on his lower field. The popular winter tourist attraction was reported missing yesterday afternoon, but now appears to have turned up, fully erected and unharmed.
I don't know quite what to say. I heard a couple of bumps during the night, but nothing out of the ordinary. Then when I got up at R5 to milk Gertha, my wife, I found a freaking scaled-down model of Big Ben in my outhouse. It was quite a shock, I can tell thee.
We have a revered scientist in the field of brickology here in the studio to offer us his opinion.
Well, they're a school of thought to...
In other news, the intriguing story of German pensioner Gerhard von Papen, who refuses to be moved from the council tenement he has lived in for the last 20 years, even though it's about to be bulldozed by Berkshire County Council.
Deutschland, Deutschland, über alle,
Mr. von Papen! Mr. von Papen, we will rehouse you. Please end this madness now.
Nein!
And blind and deaf and a long-term gout sufferer, still operating dangerous farm machinery. We'll be looking into the heartwarming story of Jed Key, a Dorset ham farmer with serious problems.
Worth sticking around for that one, Ian, because it really is a story to make you feel better and pat yourself.
Yes, it is. As well as that, we'll have sport with Jim Tanner, including one woman in a burning boat. Round-the-world loon Ellen MacArthur has today revealed plans to retrace her swashbuckling steps, but this time to do it whilst her vessel is permanently on fire.
And we'll be following the hopes and dreams of little Alan Pamstone, a 12-year-old boy with a big dream. We'll see the ups and downs of a young champion in training as he tries to smash the seniors' world record in weightlifting.
So, do you think you can lift all that hefty weight, Alan? Yes! And what does Daddy think of all this? Does he think you're a big, strong boy?
Show him how strong you are, son.
Let's just hope that little Alan doesn't smash his bones out as well.
Great stuff.
And now, the uproarious story of the crazed bovine and the blood-soaked day that no family in the south will forget in a hurry. For more, over to Dean Turkey at the fated Monkton Winterton Fete. Dean.
We're very sorry. We seem to be having some technical difficulties.
Pat, if I can just interject, I'm just hearing now. But we're going to try and bring you that story later. But
right.
In the meantime, we can move on to the story of that radical peg-legged Muslim cleric Ahmed Hitler, who today is protesting outside Portsmouth Crown Court about the treatment of asylum seekers. Jeff Scunthorpe's been talking to Hitler and disillusioned members of the Lords Hill community. Jeff, are you there?
Yes, I am, Pat.
Surrender.
Here, outside, in Portsmouth, to bring you the story of Ahmed Hitler and one man's quest to end what he most aptly describes as a shameful cramming of no less than 700 of they who seek asylum. Ahmed, if I could just stop you there for a moment and ask you for your thoughts.
I think this is a crime. It's a travesty. I walked here today to protest, while my brethren, some of whom suspect may be living in the cavities of the drywall, suffer from something like a muffled silence.
I see, and do you think this is an isolated incident, Ahmed, or do you think that it has something to say about the wider issue of asylum?
I think this is a very, very big issue. If this issue is not going to be resolved soon, we're gonna start a wave of protests in the Arab world. We shall begin the uprising starting in this horrible place of Portsmouth and spread into the Holy Land. Unless you want a new intifada, you should surrender more houses to us soon, but not in this horrible place of Portsmouth.
Right, alright, okay. Well, this morning I was out in the Lord's Hill area canvassing the opinion amongst residents.
What predicament are we talking about now?
The predicament that radical peg-legged Muslim cleric Ahmed Hitler describes as a shameful cramming. That predicament.
I've seen things and heard things
In a war?
in a war. Well, I say it's hogwash, really. I mean, 700 people in a house. I mean, that's absolute hogwash. That, you know.
Can you tell me, what exactly you're referring to by hogwash?
I believe it's a fabrication. I think, 700 people in a house. This guy, this cleric, he's full of. He's absolutely full of.
Sorry, I think I'm going to have to stop you there. Can we do this again? Keith, can we do this again? The smell.
What
it's over.
have I
Sir,
done?
could you stop?
What have I done?
The smell's overbearing.